Happy to everybody that's listening to the sound of my voice. You know who I am, right? I am the Telisa Franklin right here on FM 104, AM 1240, WAV in the trend. Well, you know what we doing over here, right? We're trending the music, the culture, and the conversations. And on this morning, I am super excited to have a conversation with a young lady that is truly doing the work and has a mission and a passion to make sure her fellow veterans get all that they need and deserve. So let me tell you who we got here, y'all. We have the CEO of One Vet, One Voice.org. Their mission is to create a model of service delivery systems to include healthcare, education, housing, and employment for veterans and military families. Their values are integrity, commitment, advocacy, respect, and excellence. But check this out. The vision is to bring together all available he resources to the local level and beyond to ensure no veteran or military family member goes without the resources that they will enable them for their success. Will you welcome me, the CEO, the one, the only? She's Memphis born and raised, y'all. She just went all the way across the world, but she has a heart for Memphis and is yet doing things for Memphis and in the state of Tennessee. The one, the beautiful Courtney Ellington. Hello there, Courtney. How are you?
I am fine. Thank you, Talisha, for that wonderful introduction. It just warmed my heart to know that I'm that. I'm a part of that mission. So thank you. Every time I hear someone introduce our organization, it just makes me just feel so good, especially to know what we have been doing for the veterans.
Yeah, and Courtney, you have a heart because you are a veteran yourself. So before have you to tell us what is One Vet, One Voice, people want to know, who is Courtney? Who's Courtney Ellington? Tell us about you, sugar.
Well, Courtney Ellington, born and raised in Memphis. I joined the army in 2000, and from there, once I got out, I went to film school and then graduated film school, and then I got my audio engineering degree. And after I got my engineering degree, I had a studio in Nashville. Gave up the studio, got into contracting, start doing federal and state contracting, and from there. I got back in school and got my degree in technical project management. And now I'm working on my MBA in business. And you're looking at a person who was told everybody's not college material. And so when I was in high school, I believed that. And that's what led me to joining the military. And I didn't get in college until after I got out of the military. And once I got the first degree, I'm like, wow, I did it. And I just kept going from there. So don't let anyone tell you that everybody is not college material. That is not true.
Hey, I mean, that is true story of overcoming life's obstacles, because there's so many people, especially now young people, they're told that they cannot do this and they will never mount to this and this, that, and other. But it's not matter what they say, it's what you're saying to yourself, and that
Yeah.
what the Father is saying. And so now you went off to the military, and then now you're serving in so many different areas, because you say film school. You and I started doing media years ago together, right? And I keep telling people, in this media arena, you never know who you'll run across and where they may be. And now you're living in San Francisco.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
a long way from Memphis, honey.
Yes. It's a long way. And I just want to say there's a lot in between the story. There was just bullet points of my life. And what led me to really just focusing on veterans is some of the things that I went through.
Mhm.
I had a house, car. Those who know me, I was living really good in Memphis. And once I got out of the military, it's like I just kind of lost everything. I did not realize I had PTSD at the time. I was snapping, I was angry, I was depressed, and I just watched everything just go away. And so when I moved to Nashville, I stayed with my auntie with my three kids in a one bedroom. So I was pretty much homeless. I went to the VA. I said, if y'all don't help me today, I'm going to lose my mind. And they did. And I told the lady, the counselor, I said, I promise you, this is just a stepping stone. I won't be in this situation long. And so She said, okay. All she did was sit on that couch and listen to me. And I cried and I was writing my goals and plans while I was crying. And there were times when I took my kids to school with me and and when I worked, they'll be sitting under the desk playing and because I couldn't afford childcare. And I was just determined to get myself out of that situation. So, that's a true saying that your situation doesn't determine your outcome. And so basically, just to kind of to pick the pace up, the VA helped me to get a place and all that. And along with getting that help, you felt like people was judging you. You felt like, like because their situation was different and they were okay, they didn't understand where you came from. And that happens all the way across the board. And so they don't put as much in it as they really can. They don't give you as much information as you need to pull you out of that situation. They give you what they think you should know. And I'll never forget in Nashville, one of the organizations who was helping to pay for my school told me when I had an associate's degree, you got enough education. And she did not approve me going on with school because she felt like I had enough education. That's when I decided that I need to position myself to where I can make decisions and not let anyone make decisions for me. And in my mind, I was thinking, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for people like you because it's not fair to me. I'm telling you what I want. I'm telling you what I can do, but you telling me what you want me to have. And I have to just accept that I'm not. So I moved out of the state and went to an organization. The same organization said, can I please get in school? And she read the files. The lady tried to stop me. I said, please just give me one semester, give me one chance. And the lady did. I made straight A's that semester and she approved it for the rest of the time. And it's been uphill from there. But again, I said, I'm coming for people like you. I'm going to position myself to where I can set rules and regulations so that people like you can be held accountable for not giving these veterans information that they need to succeed.
And that's true because even I even say from veterans, as people life in general, they have a way of using negative words and saying what they feel is good for you, but it's not what you know that's great for you. And I'm proud of you to be determined to look past that and say, no, there is greater for me. And so
That's right.
I believe in my spirit. That's how one vet, one voice was birthed. So tell us, what is one vet, one voice?
Okay, first I want to start out by saying One Vet One Voice was started by a friend of mine named Eddie Ramirez back in 2014. And Eddie is retired from the military, retired from the VA and all these, different organizations. He started it pretty much for the same reason that I'm talking about. So for the last 2 years, Eddie was saying, I want to pass over One Vet One Voice to you. So for 2 years, we've been planning this, right? And so I recently became the CEO of One Vet One Voice in November. And I'll tell you the event that we put together, for the transition of that. So One Vet One Voice, just like you said in the intro, it's the he method. That's the easy way to remember it. There's healthcare, education, employment, and housing. And I'm going to break it down to show you how we help. As far as education, we help veterans to fill out applications to get in college. We help them to find college. And then once they're in college, we have a work study program to where we can have them paid through the VA 20 hours a week. 20 hours a week for the duration of school. And this is an and this is through our organization. So we can approve the work study program nationwide. So just because I'm here in San Francisco, I can still sign up work study students in Tennessee. As a matter of fact, we have another location in Tennessee, in Nashville, Tennessee. And I have an office in the Nashville Film Institute. So I have veterans who are in my work study program there. So they can do things online or they can do things for the school or for the field that they're in. They can go and get that experience and we pay them 20 hours a week. So that's the education part. The healthcare part, a lot of veterans are not aware that they can be enrolled in the VA. They think once they get out, that's it. Well, we help that we ask the question, are you enrolled in the VA? When they say no, we go ahead and start the enrollment process. They can fill out an application, or they can go in person into the enrollment department, and they can fill out information and take your DD-214, your ID, any paperwork that you want them to have, and they can enroll you. And that's when you can get assigned a healthcare provider, and you can start your appointments, and once you do that, that's when you can also get, if you haven't filed a claim for disability. A lot of veterans feel like, I can't file a claim, I'm too old, or forget it. Because usually when an organization tell a veteran no, they're less likely to come back, right? So, and that's lack of knowledge. And back then it was tough, to file, for your disability. Well, how about my last two clients that I talked to was World War II veterans who didn't think that they can get disability, and now they both are on disability. And I met a lady who father, he passed away. He was like a World War II veteran. He got his disability, and he was able to get 3 checks before he passed. So they lived their whole life feeling like, I can't get disability. So that's another thing we help them with. So that's the healthcare. As far as employment, we help them with resume writing. We help them with their cover letters, and we build relationships with employers that have, to hire the veterans, because a lot of employers don't know that through the EDD, you can get a tax break if you hire a veteran, a disabled veteran, you get a higher tax rate. So you can register with the employment development to get your company set up to, get a tax break. So that's another thing we help them with. Anything employed, we help them. And through the pandemic, just last year alone, I helped probably about 93 veterans to get a job. And our building was closed, and I set up shop outside the building. I had a rack of clothes, I had a whole lot of applications, and I had my chair, and I had a line of veterans, because even when the pandemic happened, people still needed help. So when everybody else was closing their doors, we were right in front of this building, still helping veterans, and was able to employ like 93 veterans. Okay.
Courtney, you is on point with making sure by any means necessary. Go on. You just
That's
making
right.
me laugh there. Go on, girl. I'm
Yeah.
so
And
proud.
so with housing nationwide, housing and homelessness is a really, really big issue, right? So what we've been doing is we've been partnering up with community organizations that have those grants, like the SSVF grant through the VA, and then the city have money that they pass down for housing. So we've been teaming up with those organizations to help veterans get housing. So there's a per diem program that's through the VA that they'll pay a certain percentage of your rent. There's also a HUD badge for specifically for veteran, that's like Section 8 program. Depending on your situation, if you don't have a place to stay, you can go to the VA or some of those organizations who have the grant and get a HUD voucher. And then there's the transitional homes. There's a lot of transitional homes that you can stay in for up to 2 years while you get yourself together, and then you can transition out. And through that transitional home, that's when try to get jobs, get your benefits taken care of, get enrolled in the healthcare and different things like that. So a lot of veterans don't know that as well. So those are the 4 things. So I touched on, the healthcare, I touched on education, I touched on employment, and I touched on housing. So those are the things that we do.
And that all those things that you should share with us goes back to the mission that what you are. Y'all have created a model of service
Mhm.
delivery systems. You're including healthcare, education, housing, and employment. For veterans and military families. So literally, you are living out your mission. And I just want to say kudos during the pandemic when everybody was shutting down. You still understood the assignment that
Yep.
your fellow comrades, your fellow veterans needed you to make sure you do what you could do, because you understand that once upon a time of your life you was probably in a category like them, but you sustained and you made it out, and you made it out to come back and help them. I
Yeah.
love that. So let's talk about what are some of the problems that you feel the veterans face, and how does your organization help to address them? Because you said you didn't realize you had PS post P, yeah, PT, yeah, that the military stuff, right?
Yeah.
You had that, but you didn't really know that you had it, so that was causing you to make some errors and make some choices that wasn't good for your life. But now here you are on the opposite side. You've gotten the assistance that you need. That many veterans just really need to know that you got an issue, baby, but we got a problem, but we also got a solution. And so, what are the problems that you feel the veterans are yet facing, and how your organization addressing them?
Okay, veterans are facing so many problems, and the number one problems that veterans are facing is the VA, the VA. And I'm fortunate enough to be in a city to where this is probably the best VA in the nation. And VA has been a major problem that veterans face. And when I say VA, it's they're not getting enrolled. They don't know what's available to them. Outreach is a huge problem, and that's why veterans are not knowing what's available to them. We have an outreach problem nationwide. And so what we've been doing is we've been trying to educate. We're doing what I'm doing now. I'm on your show. I attend a lot of shows nationwide. I go out and do public speaking. We have a street team that pass out flyers to let them know that we are here. And see, we have the relationships with those organizations that provide those services. So we're like the middleman. We actually put that information out and say, look, don't forget to ask them about this. They have this, they have that, because we can't guarantee that your organization is going to give the veterans everything they need. Also, when it comes to filing benefits, right? We are partners with the Veteran Service Organization. So we set their appointments for the veterans for them. That's number one. And number two, before their appointment, we make sure they have everything they need so that their appointment can go by smoothly. So we make sure they have their DD 214. A lot of them don't have it. So we go online and we request it. And so we don't make the appointment until we know that this veteran have everything they need to go in there to file a claim, right? So that's filing a claim is one of the big things. Outreach is one of the big things. And then we have a lot. What helped me, I told you I had PTSD. When people say, oh, you need counseling. Oh, ain't nothing wrong with me. I ain't crazy. Counseling is for crazy people. You hear that a lot. Well, counseling is not. There's a lot of things that I learned throughout the counseling that helped me change my life. So I was able to recognize my triggers. And when you recognize your triggers, you're able to prevent from putting yourself in a bad situation. You can recognize it. There's a thing called check it, change it, or something like that. But you check yourself. You question your thoughts. I learned to question my thoughts. If I'm assuming something, I ask myself, why do you think that? Because I noticed that a lot of people live their life on assumptions. If you say, oh, where is your son? Oh, he's probably over there with his grandma, this and that. You guess, you're not sure, and you really believe your assumptions. So I learned to get clarity, right? To get clarity, and I can go on and on about the things that I've learned. So one of the things that problems that veterans facing is really not owning up to issues that they have. They be depressed and they try to deal with it. They hold things in when there are organizations and services and counseling and for you and your family. And once you do that, you'll start recognizing things and catching it, and you can, change direction. So those are just some of the basic problems that veterans face. And what we do is our biggest thing is outreach. We educate veterans and we educate the community about veterans. And my slogan is connecting the community to veterans. Because the first thing you hear when you hear veteran is homelessness, PTSD, all those negative things. Well, guess what? We have educated veterans, we have entrepreneur veterans, we have homeowner veterans. And we got veterans with good jobs, and we have veteran organizations ran by veterans. So it's not just about PTSD, depression, and homelessness. So our job is to also educate the community how to effectively communicate with veterans as well. And I'm gonna say this, and then we can go on to the next question. When you in a workplace and your leadership is bad, and let's say a veteran, they pop off, as people would say. Well, the first thing people say if they know that the individual is a veteran, oh, it's the PTSD. No, it's your leadership. You have people in management positions that don't know how to talk to people, that have that controlling instead of that service. I'm here to help you to be successful type of attitude. So what we do is we educate the community and the employers on how to effectively communicate with veterans, because if you really know how to communicate with a veteran, you can have a team player, a loyal person for life. All you got to do is treat them right. And that goes for anybody.
And you said one thing, you got to treat people right and stop making excuses when you're doing something crazy and stupid to somebody else. And we always like to make excuses, but never looking at ourselves. Courtney, one thing I pride myself on being a leader that has a heart that cares for people. A lot of times when I go into my business, I don't go in and tell them how bad they're doing or if something's not going right. And it may be something in the back of my head I want to address. But the first thing I want to know is how you doing? How's your mom doing?
Right. Right.
Some of my some take care of their elderly mom. Let's find out, is there was something happening at home that affected their results at work. And I think so many times that we don't understand and recognize, nobody wants to be mean, nobody wants to pop off, but you know what, you put too much air in a balloon, and what a balloon gonna do is pop. So we got to be careful that we have to have the people, places, and things to release that air out of that balloon so that we will not pop. But there was one thing you recently, Courtney, was on a panel with the Speaker of the House herself, Nancy Pelosi, right? Talking about the current bills that are being passed for the military, right? But tell us about those bills and how did you even get involved? I think that's major. I said a girl came from Memphis that always made herself to the Speaker of the House to address the issues and the awareness of veterans. So kind of talk about that experience, because I know it was power packed because you were there.
Yes. Okay. So there are 3 bills that are currently being passed. And one of them, I'm going to look to the side because I have it up here on my screen, is the HR 1836. And basically, that bill is in which will ensure that every day our reserve members and National Guard heroes serve in uniform count towards their benefit. This will lift up hundreds of thousands of current and future veterans across the nation so that they can too thrive in the 21st century economy. So that sounds good, but when I went into reading the actual bill, there was an amendment there that excluded training. So when I was on the panel, I asked Madam Nancy Pelosi and Chairman Takano, I said, I noticed that training is not included in the amendment. Why wasn't training included in the amendment? Because National Guard and Reserve soldiers are also deployed statewide as well as deployed overseas. Well, they initially put the bill out that includes, as soon as you put on your uniform, that counts toward your Montgomery GI Bill. Because being stateside, the state had the funds for the tuition, tuition assistance program. So basically, that was an amendment that the other party put out, and they wanted to keep it that way. But Nancy Pelosi and her team has been pushing for, as soon as they put on their uniform, any day they put on their uniform, it counts, and it is going to be passed. The only thing about it is that bill is going to be effective 2025. I said, okay, well, why would it's going to take so long? That's because they're trying to iron everything out, but it's going to be effective immediately. You just won't be able to use those benefits until 2025. So that is amazing news for the National Guard and Reserve. The next bill is called the HR 4673, and that's ensuring veterans have a smooth transition when they get out of the service, because usually they don't. So basically, they will automatically be enrolled into the VA. It says, which automatically enrolls veterans who are eligible for VA healthcare into the system as they transition out the military into civilian life. This helped bridge the VA enrollment gap and ensure that our service members who have dedicated their lives to defending our country are able to receive the necessary health care they need while taking the critical steps toward preventing veteran suicide. So when I read farther into the bill, basically it says they will automatically be enrolled. And as soon as they are enrolled, they are going to be educated on, the services, the suicide, and different things like that. But to me, it didn't state in the bill who is going to do that, because we can pass this bill to the VA, but which department is going to do it? Are they going to do it when they first enroll, when they go in to turn in their information? Who is going to brief these veterans, or do the physicians, brief them? So I found that a lot of these bills don't have as much clarity as they need. And that's one of the reasons why we have a lot of problems, because this bill can actually go to the VA, right? And when they go to the VA, they go, oh, okay, cool. And they sit it down instead of saying, all right, we're going to put this in this department. This is the plan. As soon as they get enrolled, we need to have a welcoming committee to, or we need to have orientation days and different things like that. It needs to be more detailed. And that was one of the things that I said, that it needs to be more detailed so veterans can know that that's available. And the last one, which is a good one, is the HR 3967. And that's so the veterans can get compensated for a comprehensive and toxic act. And basically, which is a bipartisan legislation that will finally address toxic exposures at a cost of war and ensure that the veterans exposed to toxic substance and burn pits get the care and benefits that they earn. Because from my understanding, from listening to them, they said that you got to provide so much proof and everything like that in order to get compensated. Now they're like, if you were there, you get compensated. We're not going to take these veterans through all of that. So those were the three bills that we talked about with the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, along with Chairman Takano. So that is really, really good news in the veteran community.
So Courtney, what I'm hearing is that you make sure that you are a voice for the veterans there with the Speaker of the House, because many of the veterans will probably say, oh, that's a good bill. But unless they read the fine lines of the bill, many of them would say it's a good bill. But before I can have these benefits, I need to be trained. And the bill has something to do with training. So kudos for you and the team for played a big part of even getting this local bill passed. Because without that, many of our veterans in 2025 wouldn't have the training and all those things to be grateful that they're able to do to walk into. And especially with a lot of the veterans that's walking out of the military, you guys are giving them a beacon of light that they don't have to be like some other veterans that maybe didn't understand the resources and opportunities that lies ahead for them. And
I want to say something else.
Absolutely.
Also, there was a lot of more questions that I had in some of those bills, but one of them, I'm gonna give you an example. It was one that says, once you purchase a home in June of 2022, the interest rate will be 0.85. So that's all it said. So my question is, where's the percentage? It needs to be in the bill. It needs to say 0.85%. And is it fixed or is it adjustable? We need be clear all the way across the board, because the mortgage companies could say, oh, it's 0.85, but we're going to make this one adjustable for her. We're going to make that one fixed for him, because it's unclear. So we want to make sure that we break everything down, and not just when it comes to the bills, when you're talking to people, when you're trying to sell yourself to get promoted and everything. You want to be clear. All the leaders out here, if you have people in your organization or employers, my message to you is be clear.
Yes.
Break it down. Break it down.
And I love that fact that being clear, so many misunderstood conversations are happening because you're not clear. And I know for me, sometimes they can say, Felicia, you're a little blunt. But you call it blunt, I call it clear. I just, you know what, I'd rather just tell you if the glass is half full or half empty, baby. I'm gonna let you know where I stand. And so there will be no consequence, there will be no idea saying, well, I think, you know, this is what she said. You know, it's the
Right.
same thing with our faith. I say, you know, some people say, I believe God will. I know God will, right?
That's right. It's
Because
a different.
I'm going from believing to knowing because of the relationship in which I have with them. And I love the fact that you're saying, veterans, listen to your fellow veteran. Be
Yeah.
clear. When
Be
you
clear.
walk into a situation, be clear. Just
Mhm.
be clear. And so, Courtney, I know that you have a big celebration of that bill because it's time to celebrate, right? That's happening on February the 12th. There in your city, San Francisco. Am I correct?
Mhm.
With special appearances by the Danny Glover. Oh, I love him. And country music singer Leah Swift, Sweet,
Sweet.
I'm sorry.
Mhm. Mhm.
And who else do you plan on having attend there? Because look like you're doing it big in San Francisco.
Yeah, well, actually, that this celebration has nothing to do with the bills I just talked about. This is another bill. And my colleague, Henley Chan, he's my everything. He's my PR person. He's Chinese. We're very diverse. I'm Black, of course. He's Chinese. We have Russian. We have white. We have a very diverse um, organization, right? So Henley, he pushed the bill to, it's called the Veterans Park Legislation Celebration. It's the legislation bill to get veterans free access to the local parks like the Botanical Garden, Japanese Tea Garden, Conservatory Flowers, all of the community pools and tennis and all of that. So I helped to play a part in that and supported Henley into getting that bill passed. And so now we're going to be celebrating at the Golden Gate Band Shell. We're going to be celebrating that bill. And yes, Danny Glover have agreed to come and country singer Leah Sweet. We're going to have one of the well-known DJs here, DJ Chicken Scratch. He's going to be here. And I was told that the person that does the mediation for, I'm not mediation, moderation for the 49ers is going to be there. And a lot of the supervisors, board of supervisors, they always, attend our events. And different organizations like the Chinese Exchange, it's AC, ICEC, we're partners with them so that we can educate each other, because, on different nationalities and things like that. So it's going to be a lot of people there at that event celebrating the Parks bill. So of course, I go overboard. I got some signs made. Hold on one second. I got signs made that I'm going to be passing out that says thanks. It says thanks for supporting the veterans free parks legislation. And so as people sign in, I'm giving them these signs, and it's going to be a photo moment because we want to make some noise and say, hey, we appreciate you finally recognizing us. And one of the things that we talked about, Supervisor Gordon Marr is the one who pushed it. And one of the things we talked about was giving veterans access to the local parks will help those veterans with mobility issues. For instance, they can't run and walk, but they can swim. It'll
Right.
help with PTSD, help them to get out and to be sociable and different things like that. It'll reduce the suicide rate. and and also reduce depression. So we push those things, and that's why we were able to get it passed. And Danny Glover said, "Count me in." I talked to him on the phone 2 times, so he's going to be there, and he's going to be joining us for dinner afterwards. So soon I'll post those pictures on my
I'm
social
sure you
media.
will. And
So I'm
I'll be
super happy
cheerleading you
about it.
right here from Memphis, honey. I'm so proud of
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
So
Also,
Courtney,
oh,
you're
go
doing
ahead.
it. I'm so proud of you. That because I remember our conversations years ago, and I'm seeing the conversations come to life
Yes.
because you have not. For you all that just met Courtney Ellington, she has always been a champion for veterans. And now I see that you got the light on for real, and I'm
Yes.
so proud of you. And so let's talk about, because not only you have this big major event with Danny Glover and country music singer Leah Sweet, but also you have had some amazing victories in your past events, from the Black History Gallery grand opening to the Veteran Community Awards Gala. And what makes one voice different from all these other organizations? Because you're doing the dang on thing. So I ask you like several questions in one. So let's take it one step at a time. You know how I
Okay.
like to talk, girl. Talk to me about Black History Gallery grand opening and that Veteran Community Awards Gala.
Okay. I'll start with the latest one with the Black History grand open. I'm smiling so hard because it was such a successful event. And I was thrown on that project um, 5 days before, before we had the event. It was nothing going on. Let me start by saying I'm the first vice commander of the American Legion District 8, and that is a big deal for me. And I'm next in line to be the commander. And we were in a meeting, and this guy said, "Courtney, you need to take on that project," because I was the only Black one there. And it's this guy named Beatrick Clark. He's a curator, and he each year he go down there and he put all of this beautiful display you know um, of Black soldiers who served, like the Tuskegee Airmen and the Buffalo Soldiers, and and all of that. And so I said, you know what, I'm gonna take on that project and I'm gonna make it a really good event. So it was a hybrid event. You was able to watch it on Zoom as well as in person. So I had a lot of chairs inside the gallery. I sung the national anthem, and you better believe I was praying to hit that high note. Thank God for the echo in the building, because I did good. You know me, I will make some connections by singing that national anthem. So
Yes, you will.
anyway,
You so gifted, Courtney. I tell you, you're gifted. That's all I gotta say.
so we had the event and we showed some of the displays. He talked, and then it was another lady. She's a Black lady who she drew a picture of a soldier with all dots, and she talked about that. And we had a reception afterwards. And I put the centerpiece was 8 by 10 photos of Black people who served in the military from World War II all the way, up until now. But they were Black and white pictures in frames back to back, and those were the centerpieces upstairs. So it was beautiful setup, and a lot of people was educated. We had all nationalities there. It was amazing. And you know me, I like to give people hype. So by the end of the night, I had everybody up doing the love train. We was, and then if you didn't get up to get on that love train, we came right on back around and pick you up. And by the time we went around a couple of times, we had the whole room on the floor. It was hilarious. So that was that event, and it was very educational. But our main event, this was our first year doing the Veterans Community Awards Gala, and it came to me in a dream. And so we were able to award veterans that are doing good in the community and community organizations, and board of supervisors who supported bills for veterans. And so it was a beautiful room. When you walk in, we had the grand piano with the jazz. We had the art display of soldiers from different, nationalities. We had a beautiful art display on the patio with the red carpet, the backdrop, and we had the DJ. We had food, and we had a program, and we gave away those nice glass, awards. it was amazing. We had about 280 people show up. We was over the capacity, of course.
Yeah.
And everybody had on their beautiful gowns and their tuxedos. And my slogan, connecting the community to veterans. I even had people, I'm a mentor for the Veterans Justice Court. We had some of them, we were able to provide them suits, and some of them wore suits for the first time to attend that event. So they was there with Superior Court judges, board of supervisors. We had the senator there. We had the treasurer, state treasurer, Fiona Ma, she was there. And so to give the veterans the opportunity to be in the presence of these dignitaries
That
was
was awesome.
amazing. And they didn't know, nobody knew who, and it was just conversations exchanged, pictures being taken. It was a beautiful thing. So you're not too big to be, communicating with other people.
Well, I tell you, Courtney, I hate that we got to wrap this up. We got to have more conversations with you because it's truly imperative that we continue to have more conversations
Mhm.
about what you're doing, because if we do not, many times the veterans that need a voice, want a voice, never get the voice, right? And so, with that being said, I know that the future looks so amazing with all that's going on as you, as the CEO of this amazing
And I'm going to
corporation.
extend to Memphis
Mhm.
because Memphis is my hometown. That's where I'm from. So I'm definitely going to connect with the organizations in Memphis. And I'm looking at extending a One Vet, One Voice chapter in Memphis, Tennessee. We already started in Nashville, but I
Okay.
do want to. So I'll be there real soon.
Also, what I know when you get here, we definitely got to, as I said, we got to chop it up from Memphis style and definitely come by the studio. Let's see that we make sure that Memphians, the Bluff City, know that you're coming so they can get connected, especially with that workforce program. Many veterans may not know about that, and maybe you could have an opportunity. We have some amazing people that works for Veteran Affairs here, like Pastor Mike Ellis. I love him dearly. He's always doing great things for our veterans. So I definitely want to make sure you guys have that connection. And
All
so,
right.
Courtney, can you give us your contact information if anybody is listening? And I know they are, how they can stay connected to all things Courtney Ellington, the CEO of One Vet, One Voice, but all you do so many other things, Courtney. So share with us.
Absolutely. I can be contacted. Well, our website is onevetOnevoice.org. That's our website. And I can be contacted at 415-535-8593. That is my contact number. And you can visit our website, onevetOnevoice.org. Also, we are over the Veteran Film Festival. Each year we have a Veteran Film Festival in November, and we're going to be opening up submissions next month. So visit our website and we'll have all of that information on the website.
Awesome. Thank you, Courtney. I appreciate you. Definitely will be in talks to talk more about all these amazing things you're doing. And I'm just so proud to know that you're from Memphis and you hadn't forgotten about Memphis. So you're always trying to make sure Memphis get the information and the resources to bless Memphis. So thank you for all that you do. And we're so excited about your journey of life, that you didn't let the no's of life deter you from the yeses of life. And because of that, now you're making sure other veterans get a yes. So thank you so much, Courtney. Listen, you that's listening to me, know that I love you. Absolutely, positively love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Make this day, make this moment, make this second the best ever, and learn how to be the best you that you can be, because everybody else is already taken. Be blessed is my prayer. Keep it locked right here to FM 104, AM 1240, WAB in the tree. And be blessed.
Thank you.